Okay, so working on histograms. We've highlighted the first part of the notes where it says we're going to use continuous data, or if we have continuous data, we'll use a histogram. And what's different here, the bar graphs are connected. The bars are connected rather than being apart. Okay. On the side, I'll ask you to just jot down a histogram structure in general here. Just jot this down on the side. Okay. On the bottom, we're going to put the word categories, kind of like Jeopardy. The categories go on the bottom. And then on the y-axis, the top, you're going to put the word frequency. Now, what does frequency mean in terms of math? What does frequency mean? Think about the bus showing up in front of your house. Does it show up at the same time all the time? Like, or does it come more during certain parts of the day? Like, how frequent does the bus come? Every 15 minutes if it's like rush hour, and then like every hour if it's weekend or not busy. So we're talking about how many times the bus comes. How frequent is the arrival of the bus? So frequency means number of. It's the number of. You guys ever do like a tally chart? How many times my brother kicked my butt? Tally it, tally it. Well, it's been 5 days in a row now. My brother's kicked my butt. This is me as a kid. Well, one day I'll get him back. One day I'll get him when I'm bigger. What am I doing here? What are these tallies? Yeah, they're increments of 5 for sure. I'm keeping track of the number of times my brother used to whoop me when I was a kid, till I got bigger than him. Then I whooped him once and he never whooped me again. But what am I doing? I'm putting the frequency. This is frequency. How many times? How many? How many? Basketball practice? Okay. When you get to your desk, make sure you get on page 100. Okay, so frequency chart is a histogram. Histogram is a frequency chart. We're looking at the number of arrivals for Calgary's airport. On the bottom are categories. These are all the different times that the planes are going to schedule to leave or arrive. Okay, and then, okay, so I'm going to highlight that for you. You can see the categories are all the different times. Okay, and then the number of goes up on the y-axis, the number of. Okay, so let me ask you a question. How many airplanes are scheduled to arrive between 2 and 3? Do you guys know how to read the 24-hour clock? You just subtract 12, right? So 6 a.m., 7 a.m., 8 a.m., 9, 10, 11, 12. What's after 12? 1. So 13 is 1, 14 is 2, and so on. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 o'clock, etc. So where's 2 and 3? 14 and 15. So which bar am I reading? This one. See the bar between 14 and 15? This is the bar I read. Okay, so how many times between this, how many hits, how much frequency, how many planes between 2 and you just go over, there's 4. Does that make sense? Okay, what's the busiest time? So we're looking for a big bar or a small bar for busy? Big bar. Okay, so there's 10, so right here. So between 11 and 12 is busy, between 3 and 4 is busy, and between 5 and 6 is busy. Okay, and it says how many planes are scheduled to arrive at these times. Up here is 10, right? 10. Okay, on that, these answers are in the book, so we're just going through it as a class to make sure we know what we're doing. Quietest time. Are we looking for a big bar or a small bar? Small bar. So there's small bars here, which is like early in the morning, from like midnight to 6 a.m. Okay, so like people are sleeping. There's no planes arriving. Makes sense? Just a few, just in case, right? And then between 7 and 9 is also pretty small, which is kind of surprising. Usually a lot of planes leave early in the morning. It's like especially like business flights. Okay, and then there's some dead time over here as well. So from 6 to 7. Are there any airplanes scheduled to arrive between 4 a.m. and 5 a.m.? Well, maybe 2. We don't know exact. Somewhere between 0 and 6, right? So who knows? This is kind of vague. We just know between 0 and 6 there's 2. They could come at 1 a.m. for all we know, right? So that there's not enough information to answer this. Okay, let's work on number 1. All right. So Mustafa came in late. So when we look at this histogram, let's remind him, what do we think when we hear the word histogram? What comes to mind? Not Instagram. Not a gram. Histogram. What do we think? What do we think about when we see this word, when we read it? Continuous data. Okay, continuous data, which means the bars are connected. Bars connected. Okay, because like what happens, like especially that slope test that we just wrote, when we're doing a section, I teach it to you, you guys get it, and then we move on to the next section. I teach it, you get it. And then when we write a test and it has all the different sections combined, you guys don't know what to do when in different situations. And do you know what the biggest reason is why you don't know what to do? You don't read it properly. Okay, and that's out of my control. Okay? If you read something, it's going to tip you off what to do. Because lots of times I'll come up to you, I'll be like, I'll show you the skill. You'll be like, I know how to do that. Well, I'll go, why didn't you do it in this situation? Well, I didn't know I was supposed to in that moment. Okay, so then what's the breakdown? What's the problem? When you read something, it has to click in your brain what to do next. Okay? So when we see histogram, we're thinking continuous connected data. All right. Notice the title. This is the amount spent on home renovations. That gives us our context. What's context? Are we talking about donkeys in Africa right now? No. We're talking about amount spent on home renovations. So this gives us our world. What are we talking about in this moment? What is relevant in this moment? Okay? So it's not random. There's something specific. So if I ask you something like, why, on a daily quiz, you should answer something connected to this context. Remember when we did the cell phones, boys and girls? Why do I care about this information? Okay, well, maybe it's connected to business, and people are trying to figure out about sales. So make some connection to real life and the context. Don't just put, because it looks good. All right? That's not going to get you a mark. All right. So how many households spent less than 1,000? So where's the bar for less than 1,000? 0 to 1,000. Is it this first bar? Yep. And then what's the number on that first bar? Are we just going to guess on this? So every that's 150 there, right? So there's 100, and I'm agreeing with what I'm hearing on the left there. That's probably 125. So how many households? That's this chart on this side here. Number of households, 125. Okay, what is the most common? So we want to see repetition. Most common. Where's the biggest bar? Here's the biggest bar right there. Let me highlight that so it looks better. Okay, so most common. And you're talking about frequency. So like, when did my brother used to beat me up when I was a kid? When I turned off the Nintendo and he was trying to save his progress? Oh yeah, I got whooped for that a lot. I would end his game and try to start mine. Or if I beat him in like NHL 94, he would whoop me. Okay? So usually it was around video games, okay? So when was the most frequent time I got beat up as a kid? Playing video games with my brother. So then I learned not to play video games with him. So now here, which category has the most hits? The most frequency. So we're looking for the biggest bar. So this is the biggest bar. So the most common would be, and remember it's continuous data, so we're between 1,000 and 2,000. That's the most common. And what was the highest amount spent? Now are we looking up and down, or are we looking left and right now? Yeah, because amount spent is this way. So what's the highest amount spent? 5,000 plus. Good. I like how you said 5,000 plus. I thought you were just going to say 5,000. So I was going to put greater than 5,000, but 5,000 plus is perfect. Is there more to that page? No. Right in front of me. All right. Okay, internet service provider. This is like Shaw or TELUS. Okay. Surveyed some of its customers across Canada to find out how much time people spend on the internet each week. The following histogram shows the results. Okay. So again, there's the context, the title. We're talking about hours on the internet per week. And then we have a number of on the side. This is a frequency chart, right? This is how many people are doing this. And then we have categories on the bottom. So this is people that spend 0 to 5, people that spend 5 to 10, people that spend 10 to 15, and so on. Christian, quit bragging about your internet usage. Language, come on. Okay, how many people spend between 10 and 15 hours on the internet each week? So that would be this blue line. Between 10 to 15 is here. What are these increments? There's 5 in each, and it goes up by 1,000. So each large jump is 1,000, and there's 5 in each. So you do 1,000 divided by 5, and you realize that it goes up every 200. So 200, 400, 600, 800, 1,000. Okay, there's 1,000. This is hard to read. So here's 3,000, 32, 34, 36, 38. Okay, so you have to know how much each increment is worth. Howard's tired. Did you play basketball at lunchtime? No? Okay, 3,800 people. How many people spend less than 15 hours? Now you gotta be smart here. This is going to include more than one bar. Do you see this less than 15? 15's here, so we need all those bars to the left. So you have to account for 3 of the bars. Okay? What's the first bar? Is it 1,200? Okay. Second bar? Almost 1,800? See how there's some space there? Let's go with 17. And then this one we already know is 3,800. So we have to add all those up. So 1,200 and 3,800 is 5 grand. So about 6,700. So if you had something like 6,750 or 6,800, I would probably just give it to you. Okay, because it's pretty close. Okay, I'm not trying to mark you on how accurate your eyeballs are. All right, how many people spend more than 30? Okay, more than 30. So that's 30 this way. There's only one bar. So that's lucky. There's only one bar for that one. 2,000 is like cutting across there. 2,2, 2,4, 2,6. Do you agree with 2,6? All right. So 2,600 people. That's a lot of people on the internet. How many people were surveyed? Oh my gosh. How to do this one? Add up every bar. Okay. So approximately how many people were surveyed? Add them all up. Add them all. So I guess you only have to find out 3 more of them because we already have 4 of the bars. So we could do that quickly, I guess. What's the first bar? 5,000? This one's 4,800. And this one's like 3,800. So add those all up and you'd get an answer. 67 plus 38 would be 10,500, 15,500. Yeah, I'm getting about 20,000. Nathan agrees. Thank you, Nathan. Okay, looks like example 2, they want us to build a chart. Okay. How do you look at the chart? The first category, or pardon me, the first row is your categories. This has already been done for you, yes, on the next page. The second row is going to be your frequency. Okay, categories, like always, the first row is your X, the second row is your Y. Okay? So this is about tippers. So tipping is important, okay? If you don't tip at restaurants, there's something wrong with you. Maybe when you get older, you'll tip. You have more money available, but because like waitressing or being a waiter, it's like one of the #1 jobs for young people. So especially young women, it's like the only job that's really available. So you're kind of a loser if you don't tip. I mean, if you're able to. I mean, if you're trying to make ends or make ends meet, then yeah, you probably won't tip. And I understand that. But I mean, if you have money and you don't tip, oh my gosh, that's pretty bad. Okay, so you can see the categories on the bottom and the frequency on the side. Okay? So let's do this together. See if we can do this. An insurance company. All right, so let's do this. You got your rulers out, right? There's rulers up on my desk if you need them, or use your ID card. Okay, the first row with the age. The first row, I just highlighted it. Where's that going? X-axis or Y-axis? X-axis. Okay. And our bars have to be the same width. So what you can do, like first of all, how many bars do you need for age? How many do you need? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You need 6 bars. So what I would do is I would take my ruler and I would use the centimeters. I would line it up like that. Can you guys see that on there? And I need 6 bars, so I would just go every centimeter. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got 6 bars there that are each a centimeter in length. Then, like, I can get rid of this, or I could turn it around if I could figure out how to do that. I don't know how to do that. Oh, there it goes. And you can do something similar with these if you want. But you gotta think, how is this scale gonna work for the number of? What's the biggest number I gotta get to? I gotta get to 24. So I could go like, I could do 2.5 millimeters, or 2.5 centimeters, because that's 25 millimeters. Let's do that. Put a tick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And just put, you don't have to put every number, but every 5 maybe. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Okay, now I'm organized. Now I'm organized. So I got my second row, the number, sort of on this side now. Let's get my labels in. I got age, which is the label of the first row. Now I need number, which is the label of the second row. Now I gotta build some rectangles. Now luckily I have a rectangle tool. You do not. So less than 25, my rectangle's only size 1. Oh, I guess I should get some labels in there for each category. Less than 25, 25 to 34, 35 to 44, 45 to 54, 55 to 64, and then 65 plus. '25 to 34 goes up to 6. And then basically you just gotta draw these rectangles. 35 to 44 goes to 8. To 16, and then 24 is the largest. And then just 6 for 65 plus. So those are a bunch of connected bars. You can color them in, you can leave them white. Does not have to be perfect. Are you alive? No ruler, no labels. Just lazy. Do you want me to get you a ruler? Put that thing, put it away, man. Okay, moving along here. We just did Build Your Skills 3. So now we're going to work on number 4 here. We're going to do another histogram. Alright, so which category or which row goes on the bottom? Age or number of? Age. Good. So age down here in the corner, and number of goes here. Young man, either sit down or get out. Make a choice. Okay. So we need a ruler. Always need a ruler. Okay. How many categories in age? 7. So let's use our centimeter ruler and mark off 7. I said here, Mustafa. Top. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now I have my 7 increments for the 7 categories. Now I need to think of a scale for the number of people. And this is where we kind of have to use some math. Do you have your ruler, Jaden? All right, so what's the largest number we have to get to? 92. So let's just go to 100. That would be easy. Do you see how long my line there is? Does it quite go to 4? No, so I'm going to just extend this line here to 4. Because 4 and 100 is a good combination. Okay? What's 4 groups in 100? 25 each. So when I mark off 4 ticks, 1, 2, 3, 4, it makes sense to go 0, 25, 50, 75, 100. Every graph that you make is going to be different. I cannot completely prepare you for that. All I can give you is some tips. I would use the ruler. I would use each increment is worth a specific amount. Okay, I also showed you a way last day that you could just guess by using halves. Okay, that's another strategy I showed you. Here, take this and practice doing this. Do you think this is a joke, Mustafa? Go sit down. All right, so we're almost on our way here. So this is where it gets like kind of interesting. So the first category, that's less than 20, and I got to get to 35. Now please just stop what you're doing and watch this for a second. Is that showing up? Yeah, okay. So I know it's not 25, it's bigger than 25. Now, whether you put it here, or here, or here, or here, that's not the big issue. Okay, as long as it's bigger than 25, but less than 50, like, just try your best, okay? It does not have to be perfect, but it should make sense. Okay, and we need all the rectangles to be the same width. Okay, the next category, and so on. Okay, I would just jot in all my categories. 20 to 29, 30 to 39, 40 to 49, 50 to 59, 60 to 69, and then greater than 70, so 70 plus. So what's interesting about histograms is the connection between the bars. So for example, if you're 29 years old, which category are you in? The second one or the third one? So just, yeah, you would be in the second. 29, 20 to 29, and then the 30 starts on the next one. So just got to be careful of where they make connections. Okay. So 68 people, not quite 75, so I'll just back it off a little bit. 73 is not quite 75, but bigger than the last bar, right? And that's what I'm looking for, that your graph makes sense. Not for like extreme precision that a computer would do. You're not a computer. You're a person, okay? So 40 to 49 is 92. So not quite 100. Back it off a little bit. Doesn't have to be perfect. 50 to 59 is 55 people. So just past 50. 60 to 69, almost at 50. And then 70 plus is just before 25. All right. Okay, and you can color those if you like or leave them blank. If I was doing this on my own, I would probably do something like this. But whatever. You do whatever you want to do. All right. What's the one thing that I'm missing, and I always do this? What am I forgetting on my graph? Title. I always forget a title. That's personally, like even when I was in high school and doing my labs or whatever, I would always forget the title on the graph. Okay, so ages of audience. Okay, just show me that you put some effort into it. You don't have to write the whole thing, okay? Okay, so let's answer some of these questions now. How many people under the age of 30 attended the presentation? Under the age of 30. So does the 30 to 39 count? No. So which bars? The first two. So 35 plus 68, 103. Thank you. From the table, can you tell the age of the youngest audience member? Why or why not? No. Because it's not specific. Okay, so this is what came up on the quiz. I ask a question just like C. All of you guys put an answer, but then don't justify it. So put the answer yes or no or whatever it is, comma, and then because. And then be very specific in your reason. Don't just say because the graph isn't specific. Say the first bar, something about the first bar. The first bar is less than 20. So any age could apply, right? And you're going to have different answers here, but it should be along the sort of the same general idea. No, because the first bar is less than 20. They could be 2 years old, 5 years old, whatever. Is there more to this? Or is that it? Is that it? Okay, and then it's the homework. Okay, I'll leave this on here for you guys to finish copying. Please start on the homework, and then those who identified need to do quizzes, I'll bring them to you.